Hello everyone, welcome to a bonus episode of McFizzle's Hardcore Survival World, which I'm calling Between the Streams. These are the parts of season 4 that I've been recording off camera. So this is me doing the mine. I was doing like trying to make a 300 by 300 block square, like a strip mine in a square, and then I was going to mine, strip mine down those lines, and then maybe go up a couple of blocks or down a couple of blocks. But then I ran out of dirt because I used dirt. Oh, here we go. Look at this. Boom. Boom, boom. You got nothing, pig. That is a setup for something that happens later on in this episode. So yeah, I was using dirt to fill in all of the gaps in the in the walls and in the floor. And so all of this stuff is basically everything I recorded off camera, but just sort of fast forwarded so we don't have to watch everything. And so yeah. This is me waiting to go to sleep because my village, I didn't want my villagers to die, so I kept trying to go back to sleep. So you watch me, I was timing how long it took for daytime, and then I would run all the way back home and go to sleep, then run back down. So yeah, this is me filling in this part of the mine. You can see it's on the x-axis I'm working on here, or am I? I think I'm working on the y-axis now. No, this looks like it's just a cave or something. So yeah, I found some diamonds. This is super exciting stuff. So we switch to the slow-mo. Diamonds, yeah! Awesome couple of diamonds. This is before I started getting challenges from subscribers. So I was collecting diamonds to, make diamond armor and diamond tools. But yeah, I got a couple of challenges, so I ended up not having to do them so much. But this is before that. And so then I go back up here, and I needed dirt, so I thought I'd level this mountain so I could get my village a bit more connected. Like this village seemed to be in two sort of separate parts. There was like the ground part, and then there was a part on top of a hill. So if I leveled them out, and then I could make some staircases or something to join the village up a bit later. So that was the plan. So yeah, it's funny watching this back. I haven't sort of seen this sort of stuff before. So where am I going now? Am I going? Just looks like I'm filling in. Is it the x-axis or the y-axis? Oh, this is the part where I nearly, yeah, so here this was a near miss. There's a couple of near misses in these videos. So there I got shot, and I was like, what? I thought it was like a silverfish or something. So I come back, and there's no silverfish, but then I see the skeleton, so I'm like, okay, I'll go over and kill him. Because I got a shield, so I'm crouching. And I head over there. Everything's going great so far, and then for some reason when I get into the water, he starts nailing me repeatedly with the arrows, and I'm just not hitting him at all. So I was like, oh, I've got to run for it. So I'm getting shot in the back by this skeleton and nearly fall in the lava there. And so I'm like, I'm out of here. I'm going to die if I stay here. So I left. And then instead of fighting that guy, I just thought, I'll just block off this part of the mine, and he can despawn. I just didn't want anything to do with him because I felt like I was just going to get killed if I stayed there. Because I have no armor. I basically have no armor at this point. I have rubbish weapons. So I did that, went back to my base, and this is where that pig gave me some pork chops, and this is where I got my first achievement off the stream, which was the pork chop achievement. So I just thought I'd chuck that in there too. Shout out to Moisey Mermima for editing the video. He's did a really good job. I have never used SHAREfactory before, so yeah, I'm thinking I might try and do this a bit more frequently off camera, so we don't have to do this huge big marathon editing. Yeah, the off stream, the between the streams episodes, I might try and do them more frequently, and maybe, so I don't have to do big edits. I can just do little ones and then put it all together every now and again. So that's the end of the first sort of section, and this is the second section. I'm joined by Amelia Pond, my cat, for this part of the stream. She wants some attention. So just trying to remember what I was doing in this bit. Am I doing the... Yeah, mostly this is me trying to get ores and and do this part of the this square thing that I wanted to do. I found some emeralds. I think this is the only emerald I found in these episodes, but they're very rare, so it's a bit of a moment when you find some of those. But most of it is just digging. This is why I wanted to get this sort of stuff off the stream. So it's mostly me digging and putting dirt out. Stuff that, I don't know, it's not really necessary to watch on a stream. But yeah, so this is me doing the x-axis. I get all the way to about 300, and that's when So actually, I'm actually gone over to the 0 on the z-axis, and then I go back across to where I would have started, which was like 60 or so. So I'm joining it up, and so I'm running. See, that time I didn't time it very well, and when I came back out, there's monsters everywhere, which I was trying to avoid, so my villagers didn't get killed. Might have lost a couple of villages there because some of my villages did go missing, and so then I thought, well, instead of having that happen all the time, what I'll do is I'll make a clock and take my bed with me, so then I don't have to worry about it so much. But then I've got to remember to look at the clock, which I don't always do either. So that's what I did there. I've got my clock, I've got my bed. And so yeah, I'm running across, going down, so I should get up to about 300 or so at some point. And so yeah, I'm collecting all this dirt from underground so I can use it to fill in my tunnels, which I'm doing there, you can see. And I think this must be... So now it's getting close to bedtime, checking the clock. Go have a bit of a nap. It's me waiting for the clock to turn over. And then off I go again, digging at super fast speed. So yeah, I should be getting close to 300 here. See, you can see the thing on the top left there. I'm getting close to 300. I'm on 0 on the y-axis, on the z-axis, and yeah, when I get to 300, I take a right turn and I dig all the way back to where there was like water and stuff, which is why I sort of started doing it this way, because I couldn't seem to figure out a way to break the get through the water, and it was a little bit dangerous because there's a huge big cave and stuff, so I just thought I'll do it this way, and it's much easier this way. So I dig through all this, get back to like 60 or so on the z-axis, collecting all the ores. This was the start of the big square. So yeah, I don't think there's anything really else that happens in this part of the video. Just so there it joins up, and then I have a sleep. And so this is another day. So I probably went and had a stream after that break, and now I'm back online, back offline, and I'm doing stuff. So here I am waiting for the sun to go down. So it's super exciting watching it in 8 times speed. This is probably where I went up, and when you're off camera, you can just sort of leave the game running a bit and go do stuff. So I went and had a sleep there, and now smelting some ores or something. Look at the time ticking by on the clock. Just sort of bouncing to myself. Doo -doo 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 -doo. So yeah, I've probably gone off and done something else. And I'm not sure what I do next on this one. Alright, so I was smelting my stone to make bricks to make my villager farm. So when because I need the villagers to get my, so this is after I've got the achievement challenges. And this is where I get attacked by pillagers, and then I was like, oh god, what is killing me? So, and I got killed by pillagers in my last season, so I was really paranoid about attacking them, so I ran for it, and they sort of left me alone. And then I realized that my villager farm, my villager breeding compound, was too close to my actual village, and plus I got attacked by the pillagers, so I thought, well, I'll move my my villager farm way away from my village, so that wouldn't affect the spawning and all that sort of stuff. So I started my villager farm over here. So I made it all out of, I wanted to make it look really depressing, so I went for stone bricks. Is that what they're called? Stone bricks? Anyway. So this is me building that. And I think those pillagers sort of are hanging out around here somewhere. I don't know if you'll see it on the super fast speed, but this is just basically me building the villager farm. So I do this for a couple of days, I think, digging out the ground to put. This is where I put the beds, and then I put in the crops for the farmers to do, and then I leave my way out, which sort of stuffs up a bit later. I'm breeding some cows because I need food, and so this is after I got the challenge from I believe it was Jessa to kill the Ender Dragon within the first 20 episodes. So I was like, oh man, this is gonna take ages. This is gonna need a lot of work. So I immediately got started on my villager farm, and then because that took, I had issues with that. I needed other things with that. So, I think I finished pretty much most of the outside of the villager farm, and then so I was going to get into the villager thing with a ladder, and then get out with just dirt. I still haven't figured out a good way to get in and out of villager farms without letting the villagers out. But we'll see. We'll figure it out eventually. So I'm just doing the top bit here. I was using the design that I used in the last series, which was from Echo Soldier, I believe his name is. It's a pretty good little design. I quite like it. It's easy to make, and it worked. So I don't know if I'll use it again. I feel like I've already used it twice. I might try and find a different design. Maybe I'd design my own one, but then, so once I've got that sort of set up, I was like, well, I've got to get my villagers over there. So I'm in a village, so I thought I'll be able to get my villagers. If I start trapping my villagers, I can start shifting them over there. But I didn't want to make a big train line, so I start making what I call a villager run, which is just like a 2-block deep trench, I guess, where I will get the villagers to run down the trench, and that'll lead them into the villager farm. But there was a whole bunch of issues with that, which you might have seen on the stream, like it was me trying to do that. Took me a while to sort of sort that out. So yeah, this is me getting the compost bins for the farm section of the villager thing. I didn't have enough up there, so I had to make some. Killed a couple of cows there. And yeah, it's mostly just me getting the villager farm. This is, you know, another thing I thought, well, I've already done this on one of my other series, so this is good sort of stuff to do off camera. So yeah, I've got it pretty much set up. I've got a few crops in there, and I was like, well, I've got to put some villagers in there, breeding some cows. So here's my first villager that I trap, and so then I start building like this villager run out of dirt to sort of shuffle him along into the thing. So he slowly goes along, and then then I realized, well, instead of digging it, putting all this dirt above ground, why don't I just dig 2 blocks deep out of the ground, so it's like a trench, and then he can just sort of follow that. But yeah, I wonder if it was more effective above ground than when I dug it 2 blocks into the ground. The villagers stopped running a bit, but I guess they sort of, one of the villagers made it all the way to the end, but then because I'd left the dirt blocks inside the villager farm, he just ran straight out over the top and ran away. So I don't know what happened to, I think he ran back and went into the trench, and then he got eaten because I didn't go to sleep one night, and some mobs ate him. So it's a real calamity of errors. Is that what you call it? It was a series of mistakes when I did this. So there's the trench, and then so this is the next episode. What's happening in this one? So I would have gone and started doing a bit of that on the stream. You can see the trenches, everything is there. I'm waiting for the villagers to go. So after that I was like, well, if I get these villagers there, I'm going to need lots of sugar cane to trade. So I thought I'll need to make sugar cane farm. So I needed materials to do that. So I went back in the mine, and when I went in the mine, I thought, oh, I'll sort out this square thing and while I'm doing that as well. So this is me doing the Z-axis of this. So I'm trying to get to 300 on the Z-axis. And then something happens along here, I think. Maybe not in this little section, but in a little bit. There was a development that I wasn't expecting. I don't think it happens in this bit. I'm still, running. I don't know why. I must have left the bed upstairs, or I had to smelt something, or I don't know. I'm not sure what happens there. I never have any room in this because I didn't want to bother making a storage room. So all of my chests are totally filled and my inventory's filled all the time. So it's annoying, and I never have any food. So anyway, I'm going back. I'm working on this, collecting these ores and doing the Z-axis of the mine, trying to get to 300, and then I'll be joining up with that first part that I did. And so I'm collecting dirt and the usual stuff. So here I go, running along and collecting all the ores and stuff as I go, filling in the gaps. And so when I get to about 260 or so, I find something. Is it here? It's starting to slow down a bit. So yeah, I find this section of dirt. So I'm collecting dirt. Whenever I run across dirt underground, I dig it all out so I can use it to, complete the tunnels. And I just think it's a waste, all this just dirt blocks underground. Instead of digging out huge big things on the surface, I can just collect this dirt underground. So But when I dig out this lot of dirt, I discover um, a mine shaft, which I don't think I found a single mine shaft in any of my hardcore survival worlds. So I was like, oh wow, look at this, all this resources, this is going to be great. So up I go and I start collecting, because I decided I was going to make mine tracks to move to villages because that was taking too long. So I start exploring the mine, and then I realized, well, the mine is dangerous because there's mobs everywhere, and at this point I'm only using a hoe to attack things. So I figure I'm going to have to go back, get a decent bow. Otherwise, I'm just going to get killed in the mine because it takes 20 odd hits to kill a zombie with a hoe. So I decide to go down and neaten things up, and then I decide I'm going to start getting a bow. And I thought, well, I've got this skeleton spawner in my village, so I'll use my skeleton spawner to get some bows and arrows and stuff. So I'm running back to the base, and then I start doing that, which will be I don't know if I started just now or not, but I'm neatening up the mine, still connecting I decide to leave the mine shaft until I get the bow and arrow, but I still need materials, so I just go back to doing the strip mine and stuff. And then I decide I'll make a little workstation here, so I've got a furnace, and so I can make some tools instead of having to run all the way back up to my base. And I thought I'll dig out all this dirt here, so I can fill in all the holes, so I don't have to run all the way back and get more dirt or dig up my mountain. So I'm trying to get to 300, and then look what I come across. Diamonds. Pity I can't use diamonds for anything though. I can't use them for armor at this point. I can't use it for a sword because of the challenges put forward, but it's still always exciting when you come across diamonds. And I think I used it to make a pickaxe, which we thought was an achievement, might have been an achievement, but no achievement pops, and I didn't have any screenshots of any diamond pickaxe achievements. So yeah, so
We might have, but
yeah, if it was there, I didn't see them. So, but it's always it's always exciting when you get some diamonds. So I found a couple more, and so this, I was like, okay, I'm set. I've got enough diamonds to make some tools to speed up my production of my mining and stuff, and I've got enough diamonds now to make a enchantment table, so I can start enchanting my leather armor when I get a chance. And but at this point I'm like, well, I've got to make I'm going to use my skeleton spawner to make an XP grinder, and to make an XP grinder I needed soul sand, so I needed to make an ender portal. So I go back into my mine, nether portal, sorry, and then so I'm collecting obsidian to make that, and I think that's one of the other achievements. So I'll go to the end of my mine and block it off and collect a bunch of obsidian, and then we get another little development off camera. Like, there's some surprising developments, I thought, off the camera that was sort of annoying. So I go up and go to sleep because it's bedtime, and then I go, I'll just put see, that's how many hits it takes to kill there's the zombie that escaped. The villager that escaped from the villager farm got killed for his trouble, and then I block the other villagers in. I make my nether portal, and in I go, which is also an achievement. Making a nether portal is an achievement, so I think that'll pop up here. There's the achievement that I got, the trophy. And so in I go to the nether, and I'm glad I didn't run straight off the edge because I would have died, because my nether portal spawned in the middle of a gaping void. And so I was like, oh, this is just great. What I think I'll do, and there was ghasts, so I was like, oh no, I'm gonna have to hide from these ghasts. I know what I'll do. I'll go back into the overworld, and then I'll move my portal. I'll break my portal down, and I'll move it over, you know, closer to land, so that the land is over in a different direction. So I'll move the portal, you know, as far as I can, or it's still in the village, but hopefully it'll spawn on land. But what I didn't realize, once you've spawned a portal in the Nether, if you make a new portal in the overworld and it's still within a certain radius of that initial one, they'll just automatically connect with those portals. So when I come back into the Nether here, I'm pretty much in exactly the same spot. And so I was like, oh well, if I'm going to have to move my portal, I'm going to have to go, 1,000 blocks in a direction in the overworld, which I didn't want to do because I was running out of time. So I figured, I know what I'll do. I'll just build a tunnel. So I go through and start building this huge, big, long tunnel over to land. Which, if you'll see the stream, I actually make it all the way. So I get my soul sand, and here I am making my spawner. And one of the other achievements was making a sign, which I got, which I don't know if that achievement popped up, but that was the one. I think I might have got that one in the stream. But here I am making my XP grinder with my skeletons, and this section here that I'm working on is pretty much. I had real problems with this because I'm supposed to, since the soul sand creates like the water, the bubble shafts or whatever you call them, where that you float, my one, this design that I was following, because I don't want to name whose thing it is, because I'm really not happy with the guy, because as you will find out. He said to dig out a block, to draw the skeletons into the flow of the column, the bubble column. And I was like, okay. And so when I did that, I didn't understand why, but I did it. And as a result, you'll see what happens in a bit. But the bubble column only goes as high as those up until that block that he wanted me to dig out, which didn't make any sense to me, and it didn't look like what he said in his video was not what he was showing on the video, which made no sense to me. And at the time I was a bit confused, and so I was just like, anyway, I'll just leave it, I'll sort it out later. So I'm making my XP grinder here. So this is me collecting getting my position right, so I can go, okay, this is where I need to be in the overworld. On the surface, so this is where I'm going to land, and so I'm digging and making the place where the skeletons are going to go. So they're going to go up this part here, I think, and then flow over the top and then fall down to this other spot. So I'm just making my I think this was going to look pretty cool too. It would look like a giant pair of legs made out of cobblestone. So this is where the skeletons were going to flow. It was going to be 3 blocks high so they didn't get stuck. And then so it's coming to night time, so I jump down and go to bed. And then I finish making this top part where they're going to land. So this is that part done, and this is me, and I land on the thing. That's all working great. Like, all of my coordinates worked out fine. And then okay, now it's time to put the water in. So I go in, put the top on, and I think I look at the, so when I'm pausing here doing nothing, I'm watching the video to see what I'm supposed to be doing next. And so it's saying put the water in. So okay, I climb up to the top, put a sign there, put the water in, and the bubble stuff doesn't come all the way to the top. So it's like, yeah, I'll just test it to make sure that the bubbles aren't coming all the way to the top. So not thinking that if the bubbles aren't going all the way to the top, I'm going to sink and I'm going to stop in the middle of nowhere with nowhere to go, and I'm on zero bubbles when I realize that. So I go, okay, I've got to escape. So this is a real near-death experience. I'm trying to get to the top as fast as I can. Somehow I make it up, and I'm like, it's not going, the bubbles aren't going all the way to the top. I'm going to have to fix it. So I go right back down to the bottom. I suss it all out and jump in, and I do the same thing again, and then this time I'm not so lucky and I die. So that's the end. That's the end of this, the end of season number 4 of McFizzle's Hardcore Survival World.
Hello everybody, this is the credits and all the achievements that McFizzle has got during the series. Thank you for watching, and before I go, I would like to say thank you for all of you who have watched the streams and all of you who've watched this 33-minute video. And this video was edited by me, Moisey Mermaid More Ghosted, and it was directed by McFizzle. So I hope you guys have a great day. See you next time. Bye.